What's going on, y'all? We're back. UFC 318, the last dance, the final walk to the octagon from our boy Dustin Poirier. It's going down in the great city of New Orleans, man. Dustin's getting his final fight in New Orleans in his backyard versus Max Holloway. Let's go ahead and get into it. By the way, I would appreciate a nice comment about the thumbnail, man. I feel like I cooked. It looks like a movie scene, like a movie trailer. Dustin versus Max. Hopefully, it's going to be a movie. Hopefully, we can pop out at this event live and in person and do a stream for it or something. But anyway, we're about to build the card around Dustin Poirier. Obviously, starting off with the main event already being confirmed. I think that's the only fight confirmed, at least for the main card, maybe on the entire card. But Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway. It's a tough fight, bro. I see some hardcore fans out there saying, quote unquote hardcore fans saying, nobody wants to see this fight, bro. Nobody wants to see Dustin versus Max again. I guess I'm a casual because I do. I want to see Dustin versus Max Holloway. I get that it's a trilogy. Max Holloway being 0-2 against Dustin. Max Holloway's a dog. And I honestly think Max Holloway is probably going to win this fight. I think he's going to open up as the favorite. He's the younger fighter. He looked great against Gaethje. He looked good against Poirier too, but Poirier is just too tough. But at the same time, Dustin had one of his best performances of his entire career against Islam, and that was his last fight. But with that being said, I'm leaning towards Max Holloway right now. The closer and closer we get, I'm going to be seeing the diamond edits, Rihanna singing in the background, the last dance edits of Dustin Poirier. Hopefully it doesn't sway my opinion too much. Right now I'm picking Max. I'm going to have to pick Dustin in his hometown, bro. He doesn't lose 2 in a row. The closer we get, I'm probably going to pick Dustin. As of right now, I'm leaning Max Holloway. But yeah, this is a banger main event, bro. This is going to bless the city of New Orleans. I don't even think you have to stack this card. I'm building a realistic card that is very much a banger, but I don't even think you need massive name value. You don't really need a massive co-main event here. I don't think it's going to happen. Dana White's not just going to throw a super hyped up co-main on this fight. I don't see it. I get that this is not an official undisputed title fight. It's the BMF title, however you feel about that. But Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, 2 of the biggest names in the sport. Neither of them undisputed champion, but 2 big names in the sport. They can carry the weight themselves, bro. This fight is going to sell no matter what's on the undercard. This fight is still going to sell if this is the only men's fight on the card. If it's all women's MMA, the hardcore fans, like myself, I'm a real hardcore, bro. I'm a real hardcore, I promise. But everybody's going to be tuning into Dustin Poirier's last fight. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, nobody wants to see women's MMA ever, but we obviously don't want to see them load up the card with women's MMA fights. That's not what I'm saying. But anyway, we're building a realistic card for UFC 318. But anyways, back to the fight. Dustin versus Max is a sick fight. I think Max is a slightly better striker than Dustin. He's got the lighter man skill, man. He's got the lighter man skill. He looked great at lightweight. The one time we've seen Max Holloway really take his time, really bulked up, looked like a natural lightweight. He had one of his best performances to date. So I'm excited for this fight. We're getting a true lightweight in Max Holloway versus a always dangerous, he's still got it, Dustin Poirier. Dude's a scumbag, dude. He's a scumbag, dude. But no matter who wins, no matter what happens, this fight is guaranteed fireworks. There's absolutely zero chance this fight is boring. And whoever wins, I'm going to be happy, but I'm also going to be sad because I think everybody out there loves both of these fighters. I'm going to have to root for Dustin, though. I'm going to have to root for Dustin in his final fight, in his retirement fight. I'm not going to lie. That screws the lightweight division a little bit more. The UFC would be in better shape if Max Holloway were to win this fight, I think. Because if Max Holloway takes the L here, where does he go next? I don't know. Maybe fights a Dan Hooker. Does he keep? What happens with the BMF title, bro? What happens with the BMF title if Dustin wins, bro, and retires with it? I don't know. Maybe they will not bring the BMF title around as much. I personally don't love it. I think it's a good addition, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to see a BMF title fight twice a year, bro. I want it to be once a year max or very, very occasional. But anyway, this is a sick main event. It doesn't matter what you stack the undercard with, but we're going to stack the undercard not necessarily with super high name value, but with banger fights. But let's go ahead and move on to the co-main event, my boy Yuri Prochazka. I don't know why I did that, guys. I'm sorry. But Yuri Prochazka, my boy, my second favorite fighter in the UFC, taking on a young, hungry Carlos Ulberg, who's on a tear. He just won a close fight, but he won a fight with Jan Blachowicz. I know Jan Blachowicz has been out of the game for a while, but that's a really good win, bro. That is a really good win. Yuri Prochazka, I wouldn't say he's really a big name. He's a big name to the hardcore fans, bro. Like me. I'm a hardcore. I'm a diehard, bro. But anyway, Yuri Prochazka, I feel like it's a big enough name to be in a 5-round co-main event because this kind of plays into a number one contenders fight. Ankalaev is going to fight Poatan. I'm pretty sure. I feel pretty confident in that. Maybe at UFC 319. I don't know. Apparently, they've got offered for UFC 317. We still don't have a main event yet. We still don't have a main event confirmed for UFC 317. It's got to be Ilya versus Charles. I don't know what they're waiting on, but they haven't announced anything yet. But yeah, let's do a number one contenders fight, Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. This should give both guys enough time to heal up from any injuries, recover from their previous fights. And this is a banger, bro. The people of New Orleans, the people in Louisiana in general, in the South, man, they love a good old fight. And Yuri Prochazka is going to bring them a fight every single time he steps foot in the octagon. Now, I would have to side with Yuri Prochazka in this fight if we see this because Yuri's my boy. And I think he has just a unique enough style. Ooh, write that word down, unique. Add that one to the vocabulary. It's not even that big of a word. But y'all get what I'm saying. We're throwing in the descriptive adjectives. Oh, okay. But anyway, Carlos Ulberg, he's a dangerous fighter. Has a great lead hook. He definitely could catch Yuri Prochazka. This is a very intriguing fight. Both guys are massive, bro. Both guys are massive. Somebody's getting knocked out. This fight's not going the distance. But I think Yuri could get this one done. I think Yuri Prochazka could become the new number one contender and fight the winner of Pereira and Ankalaev again, which I don't think it's going to be Pereira. I think we could potentially get Yuri versus Magomed Ankalaev maybe late this year, maybe early next year. I don't know if Ankalaev's going to want to fight again this year. Maybe. He might. He's a dog. He's a dog. I think Ankalaev beats Pereira in the rematch. I think he actually knocks him out this time. But that sets up a very intriguing matchup in Yuri Prochazka and Magomed Ankalaev. I think Yuri Prochazka is a tougher fight than Poatan. Is that crazy? Because that's a hardcore take, man. But yeah, that's just what I think. I don't know necessarily if Yuri beats Ankalaev. I think Ankalaev is the best fighter in the division. He's a champion for a reason. But Yuri just has that interesting style, man. That awkward style. The samurai spirit could lead him to victory. Yuri Prochazka also has a little bit of plot armor. We've talked about this in a previous video. Yuri Prochazka does not lose to anybody unless their name is Alex Pereira. And last time I checked, Carlos Ulberg is not Alex Pereira. I don't know, man. I don't think he is. But anyways, this is a sick number one contenders fight. I think you could easily put this as the co-main event on a Dustin Poirier card in New Orleans. Let's keep rolling through. Next up, guys. Jean Silva. Jean Silva is legit. Jean Silva needs to take another step up in competition, and if he gets through this test in Arnold Allen, I'm okay with giving this man a title shot. This man is running through everybody. He just beat up and submitted Bryce Mitchell. Now, I know what y'all think. Bryce Mitchell's not that good. Bryce Mitchell is good. Bryce Mitchell's very good. Bryce Mitchell is a BJJ specialist, and Jean Silva just ninja choked him. Yeah, and before that, Jean Silva was piecing him up on the feet as well. Let's give him a true, well-rounded fighter in Arnold Allen, who's going to give him trouble on the feet. Dude, this is an intriguing matchup, bro. This is a great fight. Jean Silva. Dude, I'm high on Jean Silva, but I'm also big on Arnold Allen. I don't know who wins this fight. I really don't. Maybe Jean Silva can continue to work up the rankings, but I mean, if Arnold Allen beats Jean Silva, he's right there knocking at the door of a title shot as well. Arnold Allen, bro, he beats the best of the best. Okay, let me take that back. Arnold Allen is kind of like a Corey Sandhagen to me. This man is so good, so talented. He has great wins, by the way, but then he can't get it done in the big ones. He lost to Movzar, close fight, right? Yeah, lost to Movzar in a close fight. Lost to Max Holloway, not such a close fight, but you get what I'm saying. But Arnold Allen gets close to the top. He'll fight a number one contenders fight or a title eliminator bout, and he just can't break through, bro. But maybe he can here. I don't know. But Arnold Allen has not been in the octagon since what? UFC 305? Yeah, the UK card. No, UFC 304. My fault. My fault, gang. I'm not a casual, bro. I'm not. But it's about time Arnold Allen steps back into the octagon, bro. Stop wasting your prime. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know. I really don't know, bro. But he needs to step back in the cage. This is a banger feature fight. Jean Silva doesn't have the craziest amount of hype. But everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows about the fighting nerds nowadays. This is like I'm saying, bro. You don't have to put the highest level of names, the highest superstars on this card. Just put some decent names and match make them well. And you can sell this pay-per-view, and it could potentially be the best event of the year. Let's keep it rolling. All right, guys. I know you're looking at the screen, you're thinking, oh, we got a snooze fest. We got a grapple fest, crotch sniffing. Stop it, bro. My cousin, Mateusz Gamrock versus Renato Moicano. Yes, it's a grapple fest. You're going to see insane scrambles. When is the last time you've seen Mateusz Gamrock in a boring fight? I want you to think about that. I really want you to think about that. You might think he's a smudge grappler, but when's the last time he's been in a boring fight? Never. The answer is never. This makes so much sense to me. Moicano coming off a loss to Islam. Shout out to Moicano for stepping in on 1 day's notice in place of Arman Tsarukyan. Didn't get the job done. He had no chance, but shout out to him. Shout out to him. But yeah, he's coming off a title loss, but didn't really deserve the title shot. Gamrock's coming off a loss to Dan Hooker. This is a good fight, bro. This is a good fight. And it's not so easy money. I think my cousin Gamrock gets the job done, bro. The scrambles would be insane. The transitions are insane. I think Gamrock wins this fight. But this fight makes a lot of sense for me because in the rankings, I believe it makes sense. And also, Gamrock is a training partner of Dustin Poirier. I don't think he would mind it at all if he's on the same fight card as Dustin in his retirement fight. I don't think he would at all. And again, going back to this, these are two grapplers, but this could potentially be fight of the night. I'm sure Poirier versus Holloway is going to get the bias, the BMF title bias, and people are going to glaze that fight, say it's the best fight in UFC history, I'm sure. Kind of like we saw with Gaethje and Holloway, bro. If you go back and rewatch that fight, it was a lot more one-sided than you might have thought. But, yep, that's the BMF title bias. But Gamrock versus Moicano could be right up there with fight of the night, or for fight of the night, bro. Gamrock versus Moicano is a sick fight. It's a sick fight. This is a hardcore man's fight. This is a banger fight, and that's a hardcore take. Y'all need to start calling me hardcore take MMA, bro, because, like, there's no casualty for me. I don't know if that's even a word, if that's the right word, but Gamrock versus Moicano is a banger fight, bro. It's a banger fight. I wouldn't want it, kicking off the main card. I like it in that fourth slot, in between. I don't even know what you call it. In between the feature fight and the main card opener. But let's go ahead and get into the main card opener now. Dan 50K Ige versus Patricio Pitbull, guys. Again, we don't have the biggest names on this card, but I feel like this is such a very realistic card, which has banger fights on it. You'll bless the New Orleans crowd. And this could potentially be card of the year, bro. I'm telling you, Dan Ige coming off a win. He finally beat the alien Sean Woodson, bro. It was definitely an early stoppage, but I'm fine with it. We had Ige by KO. Hey, we do these things. I predict these things, buddy. But Patricio Pitbull coming off a loss to Yair Rodriguez. Both of these guys are on the same timeline. They both fought at UFC 314. Neither fighter took much damage at all. Dan Ige didn't take too much damage from Sean Woodson. And Patricio Pitbull lost the fight to Yair, but that was a boring fight. That was a boring fight. Patricio Pitbull just kind of froze. He froze up. The moment was too big. I don't know what it was. Maybe Yair's just a tricky style. But we got two fighters here. Very short, very stocky, but they can box, bro. We're going to see some cool boxing exchanges. Hopefully, Pitbull's not super patient like he was in the Yair fight. But I think somebody's getting chinned. And I don't think it's going to be Ige. I think Ige could win this fight. Is that crazy? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Dan Ige versus Pitbull. That's going to get the crowd going. The people of Louisiana are going to have their Bud Lights in hand, bro. The mullets flowing in the back. And they're going to be shouting for Dan 50K Ige. Because Dan Ige is the true BMF of the sport. Y'all remember, going back to UFC, what was it, 303? Yeah. Dan Ige stepped in on how many hours? 6 hours notice, something crazy, to fight Diego Lopez. Now, he didn't get the job done, but he had a great performance. He made Diego Lopez look human. And they went the distance. Dan Ige even took the third round off of Diego Lopez. But anyways, Patricio Pitbull needs another chance, bro. I'm never betting on this man again. I'm probably never picking him to win a fight ever again. I'm just flustered from his last performance. But yeah, Dan Ige versus Pitbull, it's a banger fight. It's a banger fight. The name value isn't crazy, but these are decent names. If you keep up with MMA, you know Patricio Pitbull, you know Dan Ige. Let's let them square off. But yeah, I think this is a perfect main card opener for the people of New Orleans for Dustin Poirier's final fight, his last dance. So you got Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull going into Mateusz Gamrock versus Money Moicano. Sleeper fight, bro. That's a sleeper fight. And then we got Jean Silva. Can he break through and fight for the title next potentially against a tough test in Arnold Allen? And then we got a number one contenders fight in the co-main, Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. Who's going to fight the winner of Ankalaev versus Pereira? Who's going to challenge for that title next? And then obviously the main event, Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway. Who's going home with the BMF title? Is Dustin Poirier going to keep the streak going where he has never lost 2 fights in a row? I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to have to see. Let me know if I cooked in this card. I feel like this is a banger card, but at the same time, very, very realistic. I feel like we're not asking for too much with this card. But yeah, y'all let me know in the comments what you think. How do you think this card would go? Who's going to win between Dustin versus Max? Let me know if you like the fights that I picked. Let me know some fights you want to see on that card. But yeah, y'all hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. We just started live streaming on YouTube and TikTok, so y'all stay tuned. Turn the post notifications on. But that's going to be it for me, and we out.